So this is session 5 of If Only. And today I'm going to look at the story of the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. Now, Lot, Abraham's nephew, had settled in Sodom and he had begun to live rather like the people of Sodom. His principles were being changed. He was sort of blending in with the people. We can see how far he'd slipped by the story of these two angels came to Sodom. They were on the mission to destroy it. They came as men. And Lot met them and he invited them, come and stay at my place tonight. The angels initially said, well, no, we'll sleep in the square. But Lot insisted, and so they went with him. But then the men of Sodom came and they were banging on Lot's door and saying, give us these two men, we want to have sex with them. And Lot said, no, they are my guests, I've offered them protection, and don't do this terrible thing. But the men insisted, and so Lot then said, well, here are my daughters, you can do what you like with them. Now that sort of shocks us. How could a father do that to his daughters? But I guess women in those days were a bit more of a commodity. But that's what he was willing to do. But anyway, the men outside were so violent that the two angels had to grab Lot and drag him back inside and protect him. The angels were about to destroy Gomorrah. Oh, sorry, it was Gomorrah they were destroying, not Sodom. And they were going to rescue Lot. And so they said to Lot, well, what family have you got here? And he said he had a wife and 2 daughters and 2 prospective son-in-laws. And so the angels said, well, tell the son-in-laws to leave the city because it's going to be destroyed. So Lot did that, but they just laughed at him, didn't believe him. Anyway, at dawn the next day, the angels said, right, get out of here. And Lot hesitated. And so we read that the angels actually grabbed him by the hand and his wife and his daughters and led them out of the city. And then as soon as they got out of the city, it says this, and this is Genesis 19:17. Flee for your lives. Don't look back. Don't stop anywhere in the plain. Flee to the mountains or you will be swept away. So it's urgent. It's very hard to imagine what it would be like to run from your home, just leave everything you know and flee. I guess that's the fate for many people today in Ukraine. They've had to flee for their lives, don't really know where they're going, they've just had to leave everything behind. So you can understand the strength of longing, not wanting to leave behind your home, your friends, or whatever. But the situation was so urgent that they were told not to look back, and yet Lot's wife just couldn't help herself. Just one last look at what she was leaving. And we read that she was turned into a pillar of salt. Now, a pillar of salt is something that doesn't move. It's stuck. The COVID pandemic came upon us very suddenly. We weren't prepared for it, and we suddenly had to change our whole way of life. And so a very natural reaction's been, well, when will things go back to normal? But we can't go back to living the way we used to. The truth is we can't. We have to move on. And we need to remember the words of Psalm 85:12. The Lord will indeed give what is good, and our land will yield its harvest. But this is only going to happen if we're listening to him and being willing to obey him. The worst thing we can do is keep looking back to what was. If we look back, we will become like Lot's wife. We might be the pillar of salt, but we won't be going anywhere. We'll be stuck.
We are his children, the thrill of his suffering, saved and redeemed by his blood. Called to be holy, a light to the nations, clothed with his power, filled with his love. Go forth in his name, proclaiming Say